Well guys, I just traveled into the future to get some replacement parts for my AR lower because I managed to break my buffer retaining pin right there without ever firing a single round through the rifle. Don't ask me how, I don't even know. But I figured I'd make a video about me fixing it because I figured that it could be a common problem if you did have some sort of jam where the way to clear it is to hold your charging handle and slam your rifle on the ground and then it pulls the charging handle back. Because I would figure that that would push the buffer down and then slam it into that. So I figure that's probably a part that you could break. So while I'm replacing mine, I might as well show you guys how I'm going to do it. So all you technically would need is your lower and a replacement retainer pin and whatever tools you're going to need to do it. I also bought a replacement buffer end plate because I had mine staked before, and when I undid the staking it kind of ruined that, so if I want to restake it I need a new plate. So first you'll have to see if your lower is staked like mine was because I staked it. Now if it is, then you'll just have to get a small punch, put it in at an angle like this and punch that down and get the dent back out of the castle nut so that you can unscrew the castle nut. So once you've done that, I'm just going to pull out the buffer and spring just to make it easier to deal with. But after that, you just unscrew this end cap. Now I've already done this a couple times just to practice first, so I can do it with my hands now. I'm also going to recommend holding this in with your thumb right now, because without it, it could pop off. So then after that, what you want to do is kind of work that plate off so that it will actually come off now. And then turn it just a little bit, and you're going to want to have your thumb right there, which I actually didn't, but you'll want to have your thumb right there to make sure you capture that spring and so that it doesn't shoot out the back. Now take this little spring and just pull it out and lay it off to the side. Make sure you don't lose it. Next, what you're going to have to do is put your finger over that buffer retainer pin, because if you don't, it will shoot out when you do this. So put your finger right there, and then, whoops, I'm going to put this on my bed and rest it. But put your finger over that and then unscrew your buffer tube. Now if you were going to use the same buffer end plate, then you wouldn't need to take your buffer tube all the way off, but since I am replacing that, I did have to take it all the way off. And now what you want to do is slowly let your finger off of this piece and lift it off, and your spring should stay under there. Now I will be reusing that spring, so I'm leaving it in there. But here is my buffer retainer pin that no longer has a pin. So I'm going to toss that to the side and grab my replacement out of the bag. Then we'll just take our lower, and as you can see, this end is hollow. So just put that spring inside the hollow part, and it fits on right there. And it's working just fine so far. So then take your buffer tube and replace your end plate if you're going to do so. Now this is notched right there, so it's only going to go on one way. And also make sure that this dent part that dents out is facing inwards towards that hole in your receiver so that it'll match up. So just make sure you've got that correct and fit that on there. And what we're going to do is start screwing this on. Don't be an idiot like me and turn over your receiver, otherwise you'll drop the stuff out of there. So I'm going to find that real quick and put it back in. Okay, so I found those and put them in. So now I'm going to kind of hold those in there and then Just thread this until it hits that pin, and it's starting to hit. So as you can see right there, it hit that pin. Now what you have to do is push it down part of the way and then screw it until it hits the second part of the pin, at which point you'll have to back it off until you get this end plate at the bottom, and because you can't go any farther once it hits that pin, obviously. So back it off until this part is at the bottom, and then just rotate this slightly to the side so that you can access that small hole right there, and put your little tiny spring that you pulled out at the beginning back in there. And you're going to want something kind of thin and flat to push down on that while you put your buffer or your receiver end plate on there. So for me, I've got a knife blade, and you're just going to want to watch as you push that down in there and make sure that it stays straight and doesn't bend, which is what I'm having a lot of trouble with right now. Okay, so sorry I didn't get that all on camera, but once you get your spring down in there and push down all the way with your knife or whatever flat object you have, then just turn the buffer tube a little bit and put the plate down over it to keep it in place, and then screw down your castle nut to lock it in there. And then push out this pin and make sure it clicks. And if it does, then you know that you got that spring back in there right. And then after that, you just want to take whatever tool you've got to tighten your castle nut down and do that. Now for me, that's just a cloth and some pliers. So I'm going to take that, and I'll just probably give it a couple good tight turns because I don't have a wrench for it right now. Okay, so once you think that you've got that screwed on there nice and tight, then basically the last step is just to put back in your buffer and buffer spring. So just slide that in there, push it down, and thanks to our new buffer retainer pin, it should stay in there. So hopefully if you do everything right, then you'll end up with your nice fixed lower, and you can get back to shooting. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and also leave me a comment letting me know what you thought. If you want to see more of my videos, please click subscribe. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.